Yo, what's going on YouTube family? It's your man Jeremy Doodoo here. And in this video, I want to talk about what I was doing before I started my design journey. In my previous video, I talked about my career blueprint and how I got that first job up until where I'm at today. I feel like oftentimes in this age of social media, we look at people we admire and their success, but we don't really know what the middle or the beginning of that story looks like oftentimes. So I wanted to use my platform to inspire folks who are going through a transition, as many folks have over the past couple years. And when you're in that transitionary period, it can be very challenging because you feel a sense of anxiety. You're not exactly sure how things are going to play out. And I know that a lot of folks get overwhelmed from those emotions. So I wanted to talk about how I was feeling, what I was seeing, and what got me through my period of transition before I got into technology. So let's get into it. When I was starting out, I was living with my grandmother in South Central Los Angeles. I was 23 years old. Didn't know what I was doing with my life. I had my energy set on a lot of different things. I had 3 different jobs. And then I got into that car accident and I was completely lost. Right? And I feel like I had a lot of anxiety from not knowing where I was going with my life. And I was in my room at my grandmother's house sipping on Carlo Rossi until 2 a.m. Just lost at times, being overworked and just feeling burnt out, honestly. And I also felt like I was jealous of my friends, because I went to school at USC. And if you're not familiar with the Los Angeles area, USC is a university where a lot of celebrities' kids go, right? So I would see a lot of my friends who come from different backgrounds than myself in positions of stability. They had those corporate jobs. They were living their best lives on Facebook, going on vacations with their families. And I was stuck in the hood, listening to police try to arrest my neighbors, right? And it felt like a totally different world for me. And I also felt ashamed that I was living with my grandmother, who I wanted to be taken care of, financially. I wanted to be a protector. I wanted to be a provider. And I wasn't in that position to do that. But I also felt like I had to have the world figured out at 23 years old, which is totally stupid now that I think about it, because your early 20s should be about, exploring your interest and understanding who you are. But I feel like as a person of color, it can just, you have a lot going on around you. Your background's not always the same. And you're comparing yourself to people who have a head start in life, right? Which is, it is what it is. You're at where you're at. One day I was walking around the hood and I saw one of my good friends, whose name was Edric, and I was on the basketball team with him in high school. He was strung out on drugs. And I was like, yo, Edric, is that you? He was at the bus stop sleeping on the bench. And I was like, yo, is this how my life is going to turn out? And I got triggered because my father has a mental illness. And I was just like, am I looking at my future? Am I going to be a statistic of my environment? I went up to my room that same day, looking out my window, crying, and asking God for guidance, because I felt completely lost. I didn't know what I was doing, where I was going. My girlfriend was anxious as well because she didn't know what she was doing with her life. So it was just all this anxiety around us. And I feel like when the change happened, and what really got me through, is realizing that nobody was going to save me or those that I loved in my community. I could feel sad and I could feel depressed. I could blame where I was for not, for my mother not being alive, for my father having a mental illness, for me not having the structure that I needed as a young person growing up, and having that support and guidance that I really wanted. Or I can do the work to change that. I could become somebody who I needed as a young person, right? And I chose the latter. So I began reading books to help my mind change because I realized my circumstances weren't changing, so I had to change, right? And I started to develop this positive mindset, and that was something that I had to maintain on a daily basis. So I was reading books by Miles Monroe. I was reading books by Damon John, who started the FUBU brand. And I was like, you know what? I wanted to be the Malcolm X of entertainment, but now let me do that in tech. You know, let me learn this technology so I could share all the information that I learned with those around me, and hopefully they could change their lives economically and spiritually in different ways. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but that was the goal. I had a one-track mindset on that goal. So I told my girlfriend, who's now my wife, give me 3 months. Let me go all in on learning this stuff. It's all on YouTube. I don't think that I need to go back to school to learn this stuff, right? And I began doing the work. I went to General Assembly. I built a community of friends around me who were doing the same things, who were trying to transition into another career like myself. And I feel like design honestly saved me at that point in my life, because seeing my progression using Illustrator, it was just like, you know, my circumstances were not changing, but the night that I was learning Illustrator, I'll show you guys the picture. I tried to create or recreate a photo of my wife. There was a photo on the side of my laptop, and I was like, I'm gonna make her picture as an illustration in Illustrator. So I was trying to learn the pen tool as best as I could. If you have ever tried to learn the pen tool in Illustrator, you know how difficult it is that first time you use it. But it was going all over the place, right? And I was trying to make all these different shades. If you guys are looking at the picture, you could see that in the background, I tried to make the picture pop. She has no neck. There are different shades all over the place. But I remember feeling like, yo, this feels like when I was cutting hair as a barber. I'm trying to make it as precise as possible. And I used to be a barber back in college to make some extra money, right? It was a hustle that I did. So trying to make somebody's lineup as precise as possible felt the same way. It gave me that same feeling when I was trying to make a line as perfect as possible or a shade as perfect as possible, right? So I got that same sense of satisfaction from trying to make something look fresh, even though it didn't look good. If you're looking at the picture, it looks like a damn ugly metaverse picture, right? A metaverse avatar or something. But I honestly feel like design saved me, right? I could see that I was getting better week by week. Now that I look back on that entire experience, I feel like it was very foundational for me, in the sense that now I feel like you don't honestly have to know everything that you're gonna do when you're going through a transition. I feel proud that I didn't give up. I did what I said I was gonna do, right? I am in tech now. I didn't know that I would be here. And I have this YouTube channel where I share information. I've been able to mentor hundreds of people all around the world. And it gives me confidence that I'll do the same thing in the future whenever that self-doubt creeps up now, right? I understand that where I'm at right now is going to be totally different in the next 10 years. And whatever dream I come up with right now is going to be something that comes true just as long as I have that one-track mindset and don't let all the distractions get in the way. Your life could change in a year, man. Your life could be completely different. And I know that that's hard to see when you're in it, right? When you're in a time where you feel like everything is against you, it's hard to feel like, you know, things are changing because you're in the moment. But what I see now looking back is that every moment is beautiful. The ups, the downs, and when you don't have any expectations from a job, that's the ultimate freedom. You know, like you don't have any expectations of a deadline or, you know, meeting somebody else's expectations. All you have is yourself, which is the most beautiful thing. So now I know that there's gonna be another transition in my life at some point. I just went through a transition changing jobs. At some point I may want to be an entrepreneur, and a job or a paycheck, it doesn't define me. You know, like I don't give it that power that I gave it when I was much younger. You know, because when you're an entrepreneur, you don't have a stable paycheck. So how are you gonna feel without the money, without a paycheck coming in, right? And so for you, I hope that this video inspires you to see that anything is possible. If you have a one-track mindset, you know, create a vision for your life, draw out a picture of how you want to be in the future, of who you want to become, of how you want to feel, and document your journey. Always try to encourage people to document those beginnings. It's not very pretty. It can oftentimes feel like shit, but when you look back on that journey, you know, it's something that you want to share with the people around you to inspire them, because I feel like that's the only way that we can change this world, to change our communities, right? We have to share what we experience and what we go through with those that love us, and hopefully, you know, they can take something from that. So I hope that you took something from my journey. If you did, if it changed your mind a little bit, you already know the deal. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.